You're recalling 1.3 million cars. What's going on?
Well, we have announced the voluntary recall of about 1.3 million Chevrolet Cobalts and Pontiac G5s for a potential defect in the power steering motor, electric power steering, which saves fuel. And in certain rare instances, there is an electronic fault that can cause momentary loss of power steering. The cases are very rare. I think we've had a very small number of actual accidents, one injury, no fatalities, and the vehicle remains fully controllable.
You just lose the power steering.
You lose the power assist at speeds below 15 miles an hour. So I would say in terms of hazards, this is not great, but it is a serious defect. It is disconcerting to customers. It does affect vehicle safety, so we have elected to recall all these vehicles and probably, in all cases, probably replace the power steering motor.
Put this in the context of Toyota's recalls. They've recalled more than 8 million cars.
Well,
are you just putting this out there because they've already come out with the recalls and you kind of want to say we want to be particularly safe, proactive?
We don't let ourselves be guided by what other people do in recalls. General Motors has always had the philosophy we are completely open. You sometimes get bad parts from a supplier, or there's sometimes a manufacturing defect. The best thing to do is be completely open about it, share all the information with NHTSA, let them know what you're doing, and be proactive in the recall. So this recall has nothing to do with the timing of anybody else's recall, except that it is this electric power steering system in Cobalt and Pontiac G5 is the same system as the Toyota Corolla and does come from a partially Toyota-owned supplier. So in that sense, there is a connection between the reported Corolla power steering problems and the defects that we're seeing.
Yeah. Do you anticipate any more recalls as a result of this? Maybe sort of knock-on recalls?
No. Once again, it's impossible to predict when you're going to have recalls, but the level and extent of General Motors recalls is in no way affected by what any competitor is doing. Because if you look at our history, there have been years when we've had quite a few recalls, because that's just the way, randomly the problems happen to fall out, and other years where we have almost none. Like up to now this year, I think we're almost among the companies as a percentage of vehicles on the road, we're 3.4%, which is one of the lowest percentages in the industry. We never try to avoid a recall when we know we should go out there and fix the problem. As I tell you, as a corporate policy, we are very proactive on recalls.
How much is this going to cost General Motors?
It's not that bad. I forget what the sum is, but it's I think probably right around 100 million, give or take. We generally don't disclose the value of recalls, but it's not a figure that is of catastrophic proportions.
And how do you anticipate it affecting sales? How do you anticipate it affecting sales? Do you see people shying away from buying General Motors cars because of this?
I don't think it'll have any effect like that, because this is not a major recall that involves safety or anything like that. It's a recall of a vehicle which is soon to go out of production anyway, as in the summer the Cobalt will be replaced by the Pontiac G5. The Pontiac brand no longer exists, so it can't affect sales of that. And as far as sales of the Cobalt are concerned, it just has to last through the summer, at which point it'll be replaced by the Cruze.
Is this the last business you do with that supplier?
I'm sorry?
Is this the last time you use that supplier?
That's impossible to say, and there's also the issue of who bears the cost, who bears the responsibility.
Yeah, are they offering to cough up some of the $100 million you were mentioning in cost?
I would say in a case like that, we always look for a recovery from the supplier, and sometimes we are able to negotiate it, and sometimes we aren't, and it depends what kind of. And I have no idea what the supply contract was at the time, whether in the price they had been willing to assume full warranty for cases like that, or whether I just don't know what we negotiated. But generally, in expensive recalls, we look for relief from the supplier.
Give me your outlook globally. We're hearing people generally very bullish on China, bearish on Europe, and mixed on the United States. What are you seeing? What do you anticipate?
That's not too wrong, except I would say that we are more bullish on the United States, on the industry recovering to a level of 11.5 to 12 million versus 10 and change last year. Europe, I think, will be sideways for a while. And you're absolutely right. China is going like a house of fire. They're going to vastly